Okay, welcome back to factoring polynomials. That's what we're still going to be doing. So when we're factoring, when the lead coefficient is something other than 1, we factor with a different type. So this is what we're going to factor. The AC method. We're going to factor out the largest common factor, if any, multiply the leading coefficient A and the constant C. That's where the A and the C term comes from. Let's see if I can fix that back since I've turned it a little bit. So the A and the C. Try to factor the product AC so that the sum of the factors is B. That is, find integers P and Q such that P times Q equals AC and P plus Q equals B. I know that sounds funny, but it'll make itself work. We're going to split the middle term, and we're going to rewrite it, and then we're going to factor by grouping. And we've already done some of the factoring by grouping. So just bear with me. So, for example, we have 4x squared minus 5x minus 6. First, we note that there is no common factor other than 1 or negative 1, so you can't take anything else out. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply a times c and see what happens. So a times c, here is our a, here is our c, so we get 4 times a negative 6, that gives us a negative 24. Then we're going to look for numbers of negative 24, factors of negative 24, when added together will give us the number negative 5, which is this B term right here. It's the same thing we've been doing. Okay, remember we're looking for a negative 5. This is different, so our factors are going to be different, but when the largest one's going to be negative. So let's go 1 times negative 24 gives us negative 24, but when you add that together, that gives us a negative 23. And then we have 2 times a negative 12, but when you add that together, that gives us a negative 10. So now we have 3 times a negative 8. When you add that together, that gives us a negative 5. We're going to stop right there. So that tells us right there what our factors are, which is 3 and negative 8. Next, we express the middle term as a sum or difference using the factors found in step 3. So basically that negative 5x is going to equal negative 8x, because it was a negative 8, plus plus 3x. And we always attach the variable and the power to that term when we split it out. So now we're going to factor by grouping. So if I write it originally, we get 4x squared minus 8x plus 3x minus 6. So I'm going to put parentheses here, parentheses here. The GCF here, when you look to see what you have, is a 4x, and that's going to give me x minus 2. We're going to look here, and that's going to give me a positive 3, and I get x minus 2. And it looks like I gave you the answers already. When you put those together, the x minus 2 is only written down one time because they're the same in both sets of parentheses. And then what we factored out was 4x and then the positive 3. And if you FOIL that back, FOIL first, outer, inner, and last, and gather like terms, it should check. And in this case it does, and we're done. Now I'm not going to check every single one of them. That will be your job to check to see if it works, okay? So now we have another problem. We have 8x cubed plus 10x squared minus 12. Is there a GCF this time? There is. It's a 2x. So we're going to take out a 2x. So I'm left with 4x squared plus 5x minus 6. And then we got to look and see if we can factor this right here. So AC method, 4 times negative 6 gives us a negative 24. So that works. So now we look for factors of negative 24 whose sum is 5. Again, this was negative, so I'm going to look here, and because that's positive, our largest number that when we multiply is going to be positive. So if we go through them all, we have negative 1 times 24, negative 2 times 12, negative 3 times 8. I think I dropped my 5 right there. I didn't write it down. There we go. Now, I'm going to stop there. And if I put a plus sign in here, this gives me 23. This one gives me 10, and this one gives me 5. So now we have the factors that we needed. So we leave the 2x, kind of ignore it for a minute. Let's just do the 4x squared minus 3x plus 8x minus 6. Now we're going to factor by grouping. What do these have in common? Just an x. So I'm left with 4x minus 3. And if we take out a 2, we're left with 4x minus 3. So our final answer is 4x minus 3 times x plus 2. And if you FOIL that back, you should get the original equation, but don't forget about this 2x. You have to bring it down with you. So our final answer is this one right here.